Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today's September 27th and this is my weekly shop update. So I think I'm pretty close to being caught up from being gone and preparing for everything at Woodworking America, so things are starting to return to normal around here. Yesterday I spent some time out working on the mill. Let me show you a little bit about that. So I started working on the bits of the carriage that are going to interact with the saw head, and that's going to be these uprights here. The uprights or the sides of the carriage will have three uprights, the two outside uprights and then the center upright. This center upright will hold this linear bearing rail right here. You can see yesterday I got out here and I drilled and tapped all the mounting holes for these rails, and these linear bearings will guide the saw head up and down. So on this rail here you can imagine the saw head going up and down, and the saw head would be attached to this linear bearing carriage, and that'll guide it nicely up and down. This carriage has no slop in it in any direction, so that should keep the saw head nice and stable as an Acme thread is raising the saw head up and down. That's the plan, at least. So if I can get these installed this week, that'll be this week's video on the sawmill. These have to be perfectly aligned in all directions so that these linear bearings will actually operate correctly. I do have some adjustability based on the way I mounted the screws or the bolt holes, so they can move a little bit, and I can always shim the rails in and out a little bit, but there's no slop in these, so they have to be aligned perfectly, which is kind of a downside to doing it this way, but it should be better in the long run if I can get them good, perfect. So I'm really excited to be back working on the mill. It's getting really close to that point where it's going to start looking like a mill, because hopefully this week I'll be working on the saw head. I ordered all the rest of the parts that I think I'm going to need for the rest of the mill. So that's the pulleys for the motor and the transmission to the drive shaft that's going to drive the wheels, and all the other stuff, the Acme rods, all that stuff. It's all coming. So I'll have all the stuff for the saw head here. So all I have to do is actually put it together. It shouldn't be too bad. It's just pretty much going to be a beam and some mounting plates, and then a lot of fun alignment stuff afterwards. But once it's built, I'll feel a lot happier about it. So I got this sign in the mail this week. This is from Eric and Dave Rhoten. They have a YouTube channel where they show all kinds of stuff about making signs. Really great information over there. Tons of great stuff. Definitely check them out if you're not familiar with their channel already. I gotta find somewhere to hang this thing. It's pretty awesome. I need more wall space. So in the shop this week, I was working on the apple presses. I got started working on the second press by gluing up the 8/4 stock into thicker pieces that's going to make up all the pieces for the second press. And then I also started gluing up the forms or the frames that actually hold the apples for the pressing operation. I made all the joiner on these probably like a month and a half ago. It's all box joints, my first box joints, and now I'm finally gluing them together. I got a few of these glued up, and I have a few more to go. I think each press needs 5 of those, and then the last thing I have to make for the whole press thing is the lattices that go between the frames that allow the juices to flow out. So that's coming along. So let's take a look at some viewer projects. First up this week is box number 5 by Matt. This one is made from cherry with walnut accents, and he used a Danish oil finish on it. And this thing is really cool. I love the different contrasts in the woods, and I like the little compartment boxes inside the box. Really cool, Matt. Next up is a case for sunglasses by Conor. He said this was a custom order for a friend who sells sunglasses. The case is made from poplar and held together with dovetails, which were his first time doing dovetails. The top is made from figured maple and has a cherry inlay border. The inside is lined with felt and the hardware is brass. Next is a cedar strip canoe by Brian. All the strips of this canoe were laid and glued without the use of staples or tacks. The gunnels, yoke, and deck are made of cherry with a reclaimed walnut inlay, and the yoke was hand carved. It has a couple scratches, but he figures that if he built it, he can sure find a way to fix it. Cedar strip canoes are really awesome. They've been on my list of things to make for a long time. Maybe someday soon I'll make one. We'll see. Next is a segmented bowl by Tony. It's made from 97 pieces of cherry and maple. He made all the cuts with his wedgie sled that he built for his table saw. The finish on it is shellac, mineral spirits, and a butcher block conditioner mix that he makes. Last up this week is an acoustic amplifier by Robin. The amplifier is made from discs cut using a hole saw. The top and bottom are made from laminated oak offcuts from a countertop install, and the middle is made of plywood. Robin has a great video on his YouTube channel about making this, and he also has a lot of other great videos on making all kinds of different things. A really cool channel. You should definitely check it out. I just found out about it, and I felt like I was in the dark. I ended up having to binge watch for a while. So I had a few questions on the BB gun video that I thought I'd answer today. The biggest question I got was, why didn't I fire it? Well, I don't have any BBs, and I didn't think ahead to go and buy some just for doing the video. I had this gun sitting in the shop for a few months. Marv gave it to me back in May, I think, and I told him that I don't know when I was going to get to it, so it was always going to be a surprise for him when it was going to show up being done. But I'll be giving this back to him this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he thinks about it, seeing it in person. Another question I got was, or I don't know if anybody asked this, but I thought I'd clarify a little bit. You know, why did I route the top profile in his hand, shape the bottom one? Well, I was just going to hand shape the whole thing, but then I noticed that the curvature in the gun itself, where the stock has to fit into, was I think a 3/8 radius. So I figured I could speed up the process a little bit by just routing over this top edge where it slides in. And I figured while I had the router out, I might as well just do that this whole side to save me a little bit of shaping time. And I figured I'd just shape the whole bottom by hand so that the bottom of the stock actually has a different radius than the top. The top is much more rounded over. The bottom is not so much. This is maybe a 1/4 inch round over, if that, and the top is like 3/8 or so. So this is my first time working with Padauk. I haven't worked with many exotics before, but I can say I really enjoy working with Padauk. It's machined really nicely. It really works really well with the hand tools. Things just kind of, the blades just like slid right through the wood. It was just really nice to work with. Maybe I'll have to go buy some. Or find a Padauk tree. So one other thing I wanted to let you know about that I didn't mention last week was while I was in Ohio, I got to stop by and visit Shop with Chris, see his shop, have dinner with him and his wife. It was a really great experience. And we also shot a video while I was there that he posted on his channel about a week ago. It was his first chat with Chris, and that's what I really call it. It was just kind of me and him just talking for a little bit. So if you haven't seen that already, I'll leave a link to that down in the description. You can take a look at that. I think, though, that is about all I have for this week. Thank you, as always, for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.